Hi, it's Sue once again from Free Motion Quilt along with Ren. Today we're just working on the grid background for the feathered wreath. I am doing it as a 1/4 inch grid, but I mean you can always do it as a 1/2 inch or larger if you wish. I'm using a ruler from Westerly to do it. If you don't have a ruler, just draw your grid on prior to sewing. So once again, you're just backtracking to move to your next bit. With your ruler foot, you just move it, backtracking along until you get the edge of the foot against your line of stitching, and that gives you your 1/4 inch. I find it much easier to do it with a ruler than constantly following lines. In a moment we'll start doing the grid in the other direction to get the checkerboard effect. And now we're doing in the other direction. It's exactly the same principle. It looks like it'd be hard. It looks like it would take a lot of time. Um, look, initially when you're learning, it probably does take time, but once you've got used to going along those straight lines, it really doesn't take as much time as you would think. If you haven't used a ruler before, you'll notice that the ruler has got straight lines on it. So what you're looking at doing is matching those lines with the previous rows of stitching. Then you just keep your foot against the ruler to stitch along the length. It'll probably become easier to see once I've filled in this and are back on the main part of that area. So already you can see that the grid work is starting to take place. I can already tell there's a few little places there I've gone slightly crooked, but it really won't be obvious once you've finished. when you're working with curves, especially irregular curves like the edge of feathers and egg colouring, you do have to pay attention to where your stitch line is going to be, because it can be deceptive and you can end up going across your previous row stitching if you're not paying attention. Which is why I tend to slow down for those bits. And a lot depends on the angle that you're looking at. So if you can't really see your angle properly, there's no problem with just stopping, having a really good look, working out where you are and what you're going to do next. Which it's far easier to do that than to pull it all out and start again. The gloves that I'm using are actually a pair of cheap gardening gloves. I think I picked up about $2 or $3, and I just love them. I can wear them on a hot day. It's a cotton knitted back, and they are really, really good at gripping easily without any effort. So as you can see, it really doesn't take long to fill up an area. Your time is usually taken up with any backtracking. In a moment I'll bring up a picture of the finished block, and thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you've learned something and enjoyed the lesson. Bye for now.